Hi everyone, Ohayo gozaimasu. Welcome! This channel is for Japanese learners of English. Kiyomo shadowing no lesson wo yarakimashou. Listen to today's real native conversation. Focus on the rhythm and shadow along. Practice daily to master tango, bunpao, hatsuan, and rhythm. Repeat and try again tomorrow if needed. Zehi. Channel no toroku wo onegai shimasu. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
So you're juggling calls, right? And someone asks you to get back to them? What do you even say in English? It's not that straightforward, is it?
Not really. It depends. Like, are you calling back or is it for someone else? Plus, what kind of vibe do you want to put out there? Business-like, casual, or something in between?
Okay, so let's say you have to ask someone if they want to be called back by not yourself, but the person they wanted to talk to. What do you say?
Right. So you could say, shall I have him call you back later? It's a pretty standard way of asking if they want a return call at a later time from someone else.
Okay, that sounds pretty formal. What else you got?
Well, you might also hear, would you like me to have them call you back? It's a polite way of offering a callback, you know? It's like, hey, I'm offering to get them to call you, but you're still in control.
So it's a little bit more like a polite question, isn't it? As opposed to suggesting, shall I have him?
Exactly. And sometimes, you need to ask, are you sure you want to call back? Right? So you say, should I have him call you back? It's like, do you think that's a good idea? You're almost asking for confirmation.
I see. And what if you want to be a bit more casual?
Then you could just say, would you like him to call you back? It's pretty straightforward and still polite, but not as formal as the others. It gets the job done.
Okay, so shall I have him call you back later is more formal and direct. Would you like me to have them call you back is more of a polite question. Should I have him call you back is more like seeking confirmation, and would you like him to call you back is casual. Got it. What about when you are the one who is calling back? What do you say?
Well, if you're the one calling back, you could say, I'll call you back. It's simple, direct, and everyone understands it. It means, I'm going to call you again.
Straightforward. But what if you need to specify when you'll call?
Right. Then you might use, I'll call you back later. It's letting the other person know the call won't be immediate,
Makes sense. So I'll call you back is a general. I'll call again. I'll call you back later. Makes it clear that it's not happening right away. Any other options?
Definitely. You could also say, I will call you back later. It is very similar, but the inclusion of will instead of the contraction I'll makes it sound a bit more formal.
Okay, so the long form of saying I will makes it sound more formal. Got it. Now, what if you want it to be even more polite?
Right. For a more polite version, you might use I'll return your call shortly. It suggests that the callback will be soon rather than later, but again, you can use I will for a more formal version.
I'll return your call shortly. That sounds very businesslike. When do you use this kind of language?
I use this to respond to a request when the other person is clearly wanting a return call. Like, please call me back as soon as you can.
So you wouldn't just offer it, you would use it in response to a request for a return call. That's helpful.
Yeah.
What about different ways of saying, I'll tell him to call you back?
Yeah, there's a few. One really common one is, I will ask him to call you back. It's like, I'm passing along the message, but I'm not promising they will definitely call.
So it's more like an indirect instruction.
Exactly. Then you have, I'll have him call you back, which is more like, I will ensure this gets done. It's a bit more proactive.
Okay, so it's more definitive than I will ask.
You got it. And then there's the super simple one, I'll tell him you called, which is just, hey, acknowledging you called, and they'll find out about it later.
It's a bit passive, isn't it? Like you're not really committing to anything.
Yeah, that's right. It's kind of a soft landing, in case you're not sure if the callback is happening or not.
Okay, so we've covered a lot from, shall I have him call you back later for a formal offer, to I'll call you back later for when you're personally calling back, and even options like I will tell him to call you back and I'll tell him you called when getting someone else to call back. But what about when you want to offer leaving a message instead?
Yeah, that's A is important. So would you like to leave a message is the go-to. It's polite and lets them decide. Or you can say, may I take a message, which focuses on you doing the taking, but it's essentially the same.
Got it. So would you like to leave a message? Puts it back on them, but may I take a message is more like you're offering to help. Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much. And if the person you're trying to reach isn't available, it's super common to say he is not at his desk at the moment. It's a nice way to say they are not able to talk right now.
So what do we do with all of this information? It sounds like you can't just pick a phrase at random. You need to actually think about it.
Absolutely. It is nuanced. You need to think about who you're talking to and what the context is. Are you talking to a client, a colleague, a friend? It all makes a difference. And of course, what do you want to communicate in return?
Right. So it's all about making the right choice based on the situation and, of course, practice.
Exactly. And now you've got the tools.
All right, we've finished today's lesson. How did you find it? 理解できない部分はありませんでしたか? Repeat and try again tomorrow if needed. Please let me know your 感想 or request in the comments. ぜひチャンネルの登録をお願いします. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. See you next time. Bye bye.